everyone, welcome to my channel Nandita Sense IELTS. I'm your personal IELTS coach, and today I'm excited to share my top 6 favorite tips for learning vocabulary for IELTS. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, read regularly. I think this one was a total game changer for me. When I was a candidate myself, I remember I used to make it a point to dive into various materials, mostly IELTS reading passages. So I used to take IELTS reading tests, and after I completed those tests, I used to make it a point to allocate separate time to read those passages again, word to word, like sentence to sentence, and just understand the meaning. And I think that practice helped me a lot. And besides, I also used to make it a point to read newspapers and academic journals. And this variety kind of helped me to encounter words in different contexts, which made them kind of stick better. So I would highly encourage you guys to start reading avidly, because that's going to help you actually improve your overall vocabulary, your stock for all the 4 modules. Tip number 2, learn words with their context. I used to be a kind of a person who used to sit and memorize words from dictionary. But then at some point, I realized that, just memorizing words wasn't enough. I needed to understand and, use the words in the right situation. So, for example, take these 3 words: results, outcomes, and consequences. So these 3 words actually have the same meaning, okay, which means the after effect of something. Okay, so results, outcomes, and consequences, although they have the same meaning or a similar meaning, they are used in different contexts. For example, results mean, a general effect of something. For example, the results of the exam were good. So here we can talk about, any sort of exam or maybe even test. But for outcomes, we use it in a separate context. We use it the final effect of something that has been going on for a long time. For example, the outcomes of the training were positive. Okay, so here we are talking about a training program which has been ongoing for a long time and which, resulted in something positive. On the other hand, consequences. This word, it has a negative connotation to it. So it's mostly used to, to warn someone, for example, skipping classes has consequences for your grades. So it means that if someone skips or misses classes, then the chances are that his or her grades will be adversely affected. So we can see that although these 3 words have similar meaning, they are used in different contexts. So we need to be able to understand which word can be used for which context and apply them accordingly. Next, use a vocabulary journal. So this tip is something I swear by. I kept a notebook where I wrote down, every new word I came across, along with its meaning and example sentences, and I still refer to that, from time and again. This practice was, I think, incredibly useful for me. Whenever I learned a new word, I jotted it down, and I still do that. And that really helps me to, have those words in my mind for a long time. So I would say that this journal that I have been maintaining for a long time is kind of my personal word treasure chest. So I would highly encourage you guys to also maintain a journal yourself. Okay. Next, tip number 4. I also found that incorporating the new words in my speaking as well as writing was super effective. For instance, when I learned vocabulary related to, let's say, environment, I made sure to use at least some of those words, in my writing and conversations. For example, let's say I used to learn 20 or 30 words depending on a topic, and I used to select a question related to that topic for writing task 2 as well as cue card, and I used to make sure that I used those words. For example, look at this question: environmental pollution is too alarming to be managed by individuals. Real change can be made at the government level. What extent do you agree or disagree? So, this is a writing task 2 question, which is related to environmental pollution. So here we can use words like, global warming and environmental degradation, and the same can be used for this topic over here. Describe an environmental problem or event. So this is a speaking cue card topic. So you see, we can use the same words in both writing as well as speaking. So application is very important. Next, I would highly encourage you to learn synonyms and antonyms because this is something that's going to help you to get better in terms of expanding your vocabulary, and it will also help you avoid repetition. For example, look at this word happy. So instead of using a basic word like happy, we can use more advanced words like joyful or cheerful. Okay, so she felt happy after reading the good news. She felt joyful after reading the good news. Similarly, whenever I used to, learn a new adjective, I used to make sure that I also learned its antonym. Okay, antonym means the opposite word. Okay, so for example, the opposite word or the antonym for happy is sad. So I used to look up for similar words, like words that can actually replace a more basic word like sad. So I came across a word called, for example, disheartened. So instead of saying I'm feeling sad, I started using I'm feeling disheartened. So that way I was able to improve and enhance my vocabulary. Last but not the least, you may also use flashcards to boost your memory. So I used to create them with new words, like their meanings and even example sentences. Plus, I also learned from some of my students that they tried using apps from Google Play Store like IELTS exam preparation vocabulary to keep things a bit more, interactive and fun. I personally never used it, but I've heard some really good reviews on this one. So you can check this out. And I think overall, using flashcards to learn, vocabulary, is a good way for, regularly self-testing yourself and reinforcing your memory. So, yeah, that's all for today. If you have enjoyed this video or if you have found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on my latest tips and tricks. I would love to hear about your favorite ways to learn new words or any questions you might have. In case if you have any questions related to IELTS, you can also put those below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.